Hey there, Voice of the Bench community. This is Trish Jones with Ivoclar. If you've been curious about fast-firing zirconia to improve efficiency, but aren't convinced it can deliver predictable, high-quality results, I'd encourage you to connect with us. Our new IPS Emax Zirconia offers multiple fast-fire protocols designed to help save you valuable production time while maintaining consistent results. Time is money in every lab. Don't wait. Reach out to your local Ivoclar rep today and discover how IPS Emax Zirconia can help streamline your workflow.
So, Barb, an overdue congratulations are in order.
Oh my God. What did I do now, Elvis?
Didn't you all recently announce the SimplyARCH Studio?
Yes, we did.
That's awesome. You know that's right up my alley there.
Of course I do, yeah.
And just for anyone who hasn't seen the announcement, what is this SimplyARCH thing?
All right, so SimplyARCH is our dedicated full arch lab. So it's high quality. Full arch cases are a big part of what we do. And we wanted a team and a dedicated workflow and a production environment built specifically around them.
So basically just no distractions.
Exactly. Just a bunch of full arch nerds doing full arch things.
Oh God, a bunch of nerds. Sounds terrifying.
It's never terrifying, Elvis.
And does a new studio also mean new toys?
Yes. And of course, we recently brought in XTCERA Mill as part of the project.
Hell yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then, of course, came the CAM decision.
Here we go, the old CAM decision.
You know, Elvis, we tested a couple options, and of course, we landed on hyperDENT.
Like hyperDENT, just as easy as that, huh?
As easy as that, pretty much. The quality off the machine was excellent. So that means also no hand finishing, and the milling times were excellent also.
You're right, that does make the decision quite easy.
But honestly, what really stood out to us was the testing and implementation process.
How so?
You could immediately tell these guys live in a world of high, complex milling challenges.
That's got to build a lot of confidence.
You know what? It really did, and it really does. They weren't just showing us how the software works. They were advising us on the best way to build an entire workflow for our lab. You could tell they've done it 100 times, guys.
That's a whole new, different level of expertise. Well, congratulations on the new studio, Barb.
Thank you. Hats off to my dad for the studio, so it means a lot to me.
Aww. Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Greetings and welcome to episode 439 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name's Barbara.
Barb, welcome back from vacation. How are you?
Thank you. I'm pretty good. I went out to Oregon and Mount Hood and just beautiful God's country, and I am a happy girl. Whole week.
You spent some time reconnecting with nature, getting out of the lab a little bit?
Yes, I did. And you know, you would have been proud of me. I ran every day. But
did you really?
The way that my family eats, I had to run just to keep up with the food intake. Jesus.
That is the reason I run.
I think it's safe to say my is fasting for a week, so yeah. But it was great. How are you?
I love it. I'm doing really well. I'm just excited to get rolling into the fall.
Fantastic. Well, let's do this.
Well, I will say this, though.
Uh-oh.
I'm really disappointed in this industry, Barb.
Why?
Well, last week I announced that I have signed up for the Race for the Future.
I saw that.
And I was going to hit everyone up on social media to raise money for the Foundation for Dental Laboratory Technology. Well, here we are about a week later, and there's only been one donation. It's my mom.
Oh,
my mom.
Thanks,
my
Mom.
mother, who has to, I think by law, support me, but she has absolutely nothing to do in this industry. And she's the only one that's donated.
I'll donate. Come on, people.
Well, I appreciate that. But seriously, yeah. I mean, come on. We give you free episodes every week. You can throw us $5, $10, $20.
Good.
Let's raise some money for the Foundation for Dental Laboratory Technology. So, look for my posts on social media, mostly Facebook, I think, because it's easier.
Yep.
Or head over to dentallabfoundation.org, hit that donate now button, and put in my name or Barb's. She's running the virtual race.
Yep.
Yeah. Or just put in Voices from the Bench and they'll split it between us. It all goes to the same great cause.
Let's do it, guys. Please support.
Yeah. Do more than my mom. Come on.
Yeah.
So from working from hearing aids in Scotland to becoming the first female clinical dental technician in the UK, Caroline Kirkpatrick has taken a pretty incredible path through dental technology. What started as a walk past a dental lab and a broken denture sign turned into more than 30 years of learning, teaching, and running her own laboratory, eventually treating patients and constantly looking for better ways to do things.
Nice.
Caroline joins us to talk about her journey from the bench to the clinic, becoming an early pioneer in clinical dental technology, raising the next generation of technicians, and her passion for making digital dentures practical and accessible for everyday laboratories. So join us as we chat with Caroline Kirkpatrick.
You know what's expensive in a dental lab?
I would say most people say the mill.
I would say no way. I think it's downtime.
Well, that's because when production stops, everything backs up. Cases get delayed, technicians get frustrated, and customers start asking questions.
And that is why you need reliable equipment. You need a milling solution that you can count on day after day.
Roland DGA DG-Shape DWX milling solutions are built for dependable production, helping labs stay on schedule and keep work moving.
Which means less downtime, fewer surprises, and more time doing what your lab does best.
And when your equipment is reliable, your customers will notice the difference.
Guys, reliability isn't just a feature.
It's the foundation for a successful lab. Visit RolandDental.com to learn more about Roland's DG-Shape DWX milling solutions today.
Today.
Voices from the Bench. The interview. Barb and I were in Insights. Was that this year or last year? I don't even know anymore. But the last Insights, a name popped up as a speaker. And I remember saying to Barb, we need to have this lady on.
Yes.
And of course, Insights and being busy. I don't even remember seeing you. But I'm happy to connect after. Caroline Kirkpatrick, how are you?
I am excellent. And yes, definitely not this year. Like, it does feel like a million miles away, Insights. But yeah, that was a fantastic experience for me. It was fantastic. Yeah, I saw you guys, but I never got a chance. It was busy.
Dang it.
Lots and lots.
Well, you were speaking, so you were busy, eh?
Yeah. First day the presentation was over, so at least I got the rest of the time to enjoy
and relax a little bit. I'm sure that was a little stressful.
Yeah, look up what was going on. So, yeah, all good.
Awesome.
Well, Caroline, you don't sound like you're in America, and
Right.
you definitely don't sound like you're in Spain. So,
No.
where do you come from?
I am from Bonnie, Scotland.
Oh,
so, yeah,
that's awesome.
Edinburgh, in the capital city, is where I live in Scotland, and I was born in Glasgow, family from the west.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've been to
was
Glasgow, and I loved
Yeah.
it. Like one of my
and
favorite
Scotland
places.
is a lovely place, but it's far away from America.
Yeah. Unbelievable, though. Sincerely.
So we always
Yeah.
like to hear how people get into this industry. I'd love to hear the Scotland's version. How did you find out about dental?
So it was purely by chance. I left school early. I left school as soon as I could at 16. So it was quite difficult to try and get into a profession, just some sort of education route after school. And a family friend had given me an opportunity to work in a business that he had just recently taken over. and it made the little earpieces for hearing aids.
Oh.
No, so this is really cool. So it made the earpieces, and it also supplied equipment and materials to dental laboratories. And at the time, 16, all I'd done was I went in, and they actually used vacuum machines to blow down a blank over all of the impressions of the inner ear, and then pour acrylic inside. And these were shipped off. Well, they were trimmed and polished, but these were shipped off to the hospitals to fit them to the hearing aids. But we made up lots of orders for dental labs, and all the equipment fascinated me. The materials we used to mix up monomer and polymers and put them into the containers and post them out. So sitting all day on a polishing lathe, polishing these earpieces, my hands were shot. But on the way home to the bus stop in the evening, I walked past the dental lab, and it had the broken denture repair sign outside. So from the equipment and the materials, and knowing that what I was doing, was a tiny little bit of, what a dental lab did, I was just intrigued and fascinated by how do these materials and this equipment, enable you to make somebody teeth. So yeah,
I have got to tell you, we've done how many podcasts? How many?
467 or something. Yeah.
So normally it's a family member or somebody that knows somebody, but we have never heard a story such as this. So you actually connected what you did through the earpieces to dental, walked past a dental laboratory and said, "Hey, I want to do that." So what'd you do? Knock on the door and say, "What's up?"
No.
I'd like to move 4 inches to the middle of the mouth, please.
That's awesome. I love that.
I want to make dentures. That was in my head. I was like, I want to make dentures.
Oh my God.
I just started to phone around local labs in the area. And, I was looking at the way the education path, and at the time it was apprenticeships, and the apprenticeships that were available, they were looking for qualifications, which I didn't have. But when I called the local college to say, is there any way that you can help me try and find how I can get into this job? There was a government scheme, and it was to try and encourage, people like myself that's left school with employers to match them up. So they subsidized employers to take on So the government paid the salary for the first 2 years or part of it. And that allowed you to get to college. So you didn't need to, you could bypass the qualification route. So yeah, I was really lucky. But actually it was a Crown and Bridge lab that I started, and I had, that was the beginning of my career working in Crown and Bridge.
So wait, so you called them and they placed you in a lab?
Yeah, it was the local college who, they contacted a couple of the labs that they knew, and then they matched me up. I went for an interview. So it worked well for the lab because it was a one-man lab, and he needed a wee bit of help but couldn't afford to take anyone on. So yeah, it worked really well together, and I was there for 5 years. I worked with him, and I done my advanced training. And
so what was that like? Talk to me about your first day, your first week. Like, what was it like?
It was just nerve-wracking. I was very, very shy. I was very quiet. I would get embarrassed when my face would go red when I spoke to people.
You were introverted.
Not that I was very introverted. I wasn't very outgoing, but I think it was age. And then the guy that I worked with, his name was Eugene. He was just amazing because he was really young, and I think that made me feel slightly, I don't know to say intimidated, but it felt, I expected to go and see this old man, Eugene, that I was going to a dental lab, but I wasn't. He was quite young. So yeah, he was absolutely great in the way that he nurtured me and encouraged me and taught me to be confident, basically, as well as deliver, making crowns. And I made lots of mistakes, but he was so patient, and yeah, it was absolutely
when you went from ear to mouth,
yeah,
was it cool, Elvis?
Was it, did you have to start prioritizing aesthetics? Because I imagine with hearing aids, it's not as big of a deal. It's more of just like
No.
a
Yeah,
fit.
completely. It was like a factory when you worked in the hearing aid, place, because I was only doing one part of making that product, the process, and I was only polishing the acrylic earpieces all day, every day. So going to then work within a lab that made, it was mostly metal ceramic crowns. So we were making the models, and then we were waxing things up, and we were investing in casting, polishing, preparing the metal, and then building up ceramic and things. So there was a huge amount of learning and a huge amount of different aspects of the job that just totally engaged me, because there was so much to learn. And I think moving on, and over 30 years on, more, I'll not say how many years, but it's still the same. There's still so many different things to learn. Yeah, you've got a huge amount of knowledge over that time. Like you say, aesthetics, different tooth form, everything. It's just a massive, broad spectrum of things to learn.
Yeah.
But you said he was Crown and Bridge, so he brought you in. He's a one-person lab, so I'm assuming you learned model work, waxing, casting, and ceramics?
I thought you said you wanted to learn dentures.
I know.
That's coming. That's coming.
Well, he did have he rented a space, and we had another guy, Jim, and he done dentures, but I didn't get through there. I just used to get to see him standing, with his big pile of wax on the bench. But to be honest, I was so happy doing what I was doing, because it was so sort of intricate and clean in comparison to what I could see was going on in Jim's lab making dentures.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then it was probably when I got into doing implant work that I started to be interested in the prosthesis side. So the removable prosthesis. I didn't want to just learn fixed implant work. I wanted to learn about both.
Oh, there you go.
And to be honest, even in the beginning of the career, I went on to work in a dental hospital, and when we had different departments. So we had the crown and bridge, the ortho, the pros. And I wanted to be involved in knowing what was going on everywhere, but it was pretty much closed. And I couldn't quite understand that.
When you say closed, like they wouldn't let you learn different areas?
They just done their own thing. And, like for me, you're working on a case for a gold shell crown, and they were asking for guidance planes for a class, for a chrome. Well, I'm not making the chrome, so I want to make sure whoever's making the chrome, I'm doing it correctly to the way they want it. And I always remember their faces looking at me when I'm down. Go down to the prosthetic lab and say, I'm making this gold crown, and it's asked for a guide plane, so, can you guide me to how you guys like it? And they're looking at me like, what? Because back then, to be honest, Crown and Bridge was the be-all and end-all, and everyone wanted to be in the Crown and Bridge lab.
Yeah.
Whereas I wanted to learn everything. I didn't want to just be stuck doing the one thing. So yeah, I didn't last too long in the hospital. I moved on, and I ended up teaching, and then having my lab.
Forgive us. Yeah. But all right, so you went to the one-man lab, and then how did you make it to the hospital? Like, what happened? What transition transpired that got you there?
So I went from the one-man lab, and he couldn't keep me on, and I ended up working in an orthodontic practice who had a dental lab.
Wow.
So I worked doing orthodontics for another 5 years after that. And
so you were ortho too?
Yeah.
So you guys, forgive us, because Elvis and I have talked a lot, and normally you need a degree. So you were able to transition?
Yeah, I went back to the college, because at the time we done our qualification for dental technology was in all areas. And then you went on to do the advanced qualification for the specifics. So I went on to
Wow.
do the advanced in both ortho, crown and bridge.
Okay.
I've never done both. Yeah, so I went on and done both.
Fantastic.
But yeah, so orthodontic practice, we worked in the lab making all the functional appliances, removable appliances, and retainers and things. And then I found the job in the hospital where it was back to crown and bridge, because it was a teaching hospital. I thought this will be great. And it was Glasgow, so I was going back to Glasgow, but I just travelled there every day. 3 years I worked in the dental hospital.
3
before
years?
I set up. 3 years.
Wow.
And what
in
did
the
you what did you
so-
do? Was it like production work or?
Yeah, well, we used to do all the work for the student dentists who were
Yeah.
going through their training, and then all the postgraduate courses that were being run. So we were
Yep.
we were doing all of that work for them. And
So what
you
was
know,
it like?
you're learning.
I got a question. What's it like working for students? Do you get to tell them, hey, your prep doesn't look so good? You can't take an impression like back then. Were you
Yeah,
able
because
to communicate with
the great thing is that they're there to learn, so they want to learn, and they will, any feedback and any information that you can
good.
give, they were most appreciative of things like that. Yeah, for sure. And
good.
it was good at the time because it was quite unusual that we could go into the clinic and see what was going on at their side, so that you understood.
how hard
I
it
think that
is?
was my thing. I just needed to see the full picture to understand the whole processes of how things are done. I needed to know the whole thing, so that you make sure that you're doing it the best that you can, I suppose.
Yeah, because I know I do a lot of work with the school here, but they won't let me go in.
Why not? You have to
I
ask.
don't know. I
Elvis.
asked many times because we get bad impressions or bad margins, and I'm like, let me come in and help, and they're like, no, that's the faculty's job. Thank you for your help. And I'm like, all right, well,
I
good
think
luck.
that's the way we all progress if we come together and share that
Yeah,
information.
yeah.
Yeah, you're wasted if they're not allowing you in there.
Agree. Totally agree. Especially Elvis. So
So where'd you do after the hospital? You said something about teaching.
Yeah, so after the hospital, I came back and set up a lab in Edinburgh and started things with just ortho, because it was the easiest side of dental technology to buy equipment.
like less
and
equipment. Yeah, that makes a lot
yeah,
of sense.
so
Yep.
Acrylic
Yeah,
and wire, right?
yeah, wire, but acrylic. I'd actually had a wallpaper pasting table. That was where I used to cast my model.
Oh.
So yeah, I really did start from basics and got the premises and started to build it up and things. And then at that point, I had probably 6-7 months, and then the head of the college had contacted me and asked if I'd be interested in taking on some teaching. So yeah, I needed to do teacher training at the same time, and I was teaching Crown and Bridge advanced in the college, so to part-time students. So it was day release students, there was full-time students, and then block release students. So yeah, we had lots of different groups coming in, as well as international students. We used to do we had a sister college in India, so we had lots of Indian students who'd come over to do the second part of the dental technology course. So yeah,
do you think teaching just called you, or do you think you called teaching? Because it sounds like they must have known you were going to be a good teacher.
I think, I mean, I think he knew, because I went back to do the advanced courses, and I combined those courses in the one. So we had 2 years to do the advanced course, and I decided to do both of them at the same time because
you're an overachiever.
No, I'm just because the dental hospital wouldn't allow me to do both.
Yeah.
So I had to work out a way. How can I? So I just combined both of them. And in the hospital, I felt that we done very little work because I was used to working in a commercial environment where we had lots of work. We were very busy. It was really slow paced in the teaching hospital. So I had plenty of time to...
Plenty of time to do other stuff. Elvis and I know, 'cause we're in production labs, so you really actually have no time to do anything in a production lab.
I know that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had the library for the students. Everything was there. You know, it was like a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
I could use the facilities at the university as well as, you know, work, earn my money, and do the course at college as well.
So when you were teaching, you were running your ortho lab at the same time?
Yes.
Wow.
So teaching part-time, and we had the lab. And the great thing about the teaching and the lab and all coming together was the fact that we had lots of students that needed placements. So I had lots of students coming to the lab to do placements and, you know, learn more about on the job. And then, I got to handpick some. All those students who become employees.
So you were able to work with them in your lab at the same time teaching them?
Yeah, so teaching them at college to do the work, but when they were on work placement, they were getting, they were being taught on the job.
That is beautiful.
On what we were doing in the commercial environment. So yeah, that was.
How big did your lab get?
It got to the biggest, so 9 staff was the largest.
Yeah.
It got to, and yeah, I think at that point I had signed up to the clinical dental technology course. So that was the first in the UK course that I had applied for to do clinical dental technology, which would allow me to treat patients direct.
So this is when you said to yourself, I can do better than what I've been getting.
I think because of the implant, what I spoke about earlier, the implant prosthesis, and then I started to do some prosthetic implant work.
Yeah.
And I spent lots of time going to the clinics and, what I felt like doing part of the dentist's, the clinician's job. And I found that quite easy because I'd look at the patient, I could see exactly what I thought was required. But this way, to be honest, I thought, well, if the patient comes directly to me, then I'm going to get paid directly.
That is so genius. I was just going to say.
Money in the bank straight away rather than invoicing waiting a month.
Right? So how did that happen? So it went on in your head. Let me just preface it. So you thought about it and then you made it happen. But how did you make it happen?
So there was just the application process of applying for the course. So there was actually the criteria to get on to the course, the minimum of, I think, 5 years working as a dental technician. There were certain criteria, and I think there was 60 applicants that were eligible for the criteria.
That's a lot.
Then there was 15 who got interviews for the position, because this was a pilot course, because they never in the UK had they delivered this course to technicians, to dental technicians. Wow. So there was 15 interviewed, and then there was only 4 of us that actually.
I was going to say, and then there was you.
Offered the 3, so then there was one. I was one of 4, but to be honest, the first few weeks I just thought, have I just talked my way into something that's way out of my league?
Oh. Because
I had only ever really been used to college education and not university-based education. It was a big eye opener, and the first day we were given lots of these papers to critique. And I had no idea what that was. I was like, what do you mean? But luckily, I had 3 other guys that were on the course that were amazing, and we just all stuck together and worked together to do it. Yeah.
So out of all the clinical dental technicians in the UK, you were in the first group ever?
Yep.
That's pretty amazing.
The first female to qualify in the UK. The first female in Scotland. Yeah, I can take all those titles.
Nice. Because we've talked to a few.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I guess I just didn't realize there was a first year.
So
Yeah.
may I ask, what year was that?
That was 2010.
Wow. That's
I know.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
America still doesn't have one.
It's crazy.
No, I love that. I think that's fantastic. Do you say that like I was the first?
Yeah.
Do you have a
I
t-shirt?
know. I used it for advertising in the beginning.
I think you should.
You find it
You should be
decent
proud
and-
of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, because it was something new. It was, no one had done it before. Although, like, we had people or technicians that went to Canada and they'd been trained in Canada and come over. But yeah, the first time it was the dental council that was deciding what the criteria should be for us to be allowed to treat patients and to be responsible for their oral health, basically. So yeah, it's a big change from technically working at the bench to then being responsible for someone's oral health care.
But it sounds like in your brain, you knew that you wanted to do it. It's like you
Yeah.
put 2 and 2 together and said, you know what, I can do this on my own.
Yeah, I mean, and the job satisfaction from, what you can give to that individual and your knowledge and your understanding of, the prosthesis and being able to look in the patient's mouth, be able to get information from that patient and then understand what their issues and their problem is and to be able to resolve that. It's exhausting, to be honest, I think working with patients
No
alone.
pressure, right?
But
Yeah.
it's so rewarding. And, I only work half a session, half a day a week in clinic seeing patients, and the rest of the time I work at the bench. And to be honest, that's more than enough for me, because I love technology. But equally, I wouldn't want to give that up, because the rewards that I get from that, and when I see those patients at the end and that they've got something that's as close as it can be to nature, then yeah, it makes me feel really proud of what I've achieved and where I am. But yeah, still learning, still doing lots with digital workflow.
How long was that school for clinical? Is it a 2-year program?
This one was a year, so it was a year full time, and it was so intense.
I bet.
So my daughter was just 4 at the time.
Wow.
And had the business with like 8 staff. And honestly, I look back and I think, how did you manage, going from the university, running to the nursery, and to pick it up, to go? I actually got my mum to move in with me because I just couldn't manage it with the business. And
yeah, sure.
The university was saying to me, the head that was running the course, you need to give up. You need to give up the business. You need to just concentrate on this. And I'm like, no, the business. It was fine. I was in there first thing, and then back to take my daughter to nursery, and then yeah, you just do it, don't you? If you want to do it, you just let it happen.
Absolutely.
But it's great. It's crazy to me that you went through all that and you only use it, what'd you say, half a day a week?
Yes.
That's insane.
I know. But I had my own practice in Edinburgh and clinic with a lab. And it was something that I worked towards for a long time, because I worked within practices and various practices, but I always wanted the patients to be able to just pop in if they needed me.
Yeah.
So you provide a treatment and the appointments are on a Monday, but I can't see you again till the following Monday. I wanted to do any minor adjustments and to be able to beat my bench and for them to call and I'll say, yeah, just pop in this afternoon, and to be able to do that. And I loved that. So I worked hard to achieve that. COVID set me back quite a bit with the clinic, and I lost the staff, the technicians that I had And
Well, can you take us back a minute? So
yeah,
when did you actually open your clinic? So you had the two of them, but you obviously grew because you said you grabbed some of the students, you saw who was good, who
yeah.
was not. So how
So
did
the
that like transition happen? You just kept growing? And what was that
Yeah,
like?
so
How did you
the
build that?
lab business, I just decided to move my business premises to have my own clinic, because prior, my laboratory was on the top. I used to rent the top floor of a dental practice, an orthodontic practice, and I had use of their disabled clinic downstairs where I used to treat my denture patients. So it was great, and they, I just rented the room. I had my own nurse, so that was fine. But I always just wanted, you always want more. You want your own place. So yeah, I bought a business premises in town in Edinburgh, and converted it to the lab and the clinic.
Wow.
But that was a wee bit of a shock because of all the legislation that the practice used to obviously deal with all of that. But then when I took the clinic on, it was a bit of a,
You said, holy shit, what did I do?
oh, absolutely. And then, it just got to the point it was too much. It was just way too much to try and maintain all the regulations, because we were classed as an independent private healthcare provider, and the regulations in Scotland were so
Tight?
rigorous. I mean, really, yeah, and I do get it, absolutely get it. But when you are just a small, independent denture maker seeing patients, then I employed someone, and they had to just do all of the legality with the paperwork and things. And I just thought, it's too much. It's just too much to. So now I'm working back within a local practice, and it's a big referral practice, implant teaching school. So and I'm happy there. It's a great wee place to work. And I've downsized the lab, and it's just a family-run lab. I've got my sister who's a dental technician. She's been with me from the beginning. I forced her to go to college.
Oh, that's great.
She's more focused on the business side of it, but she does do lots of orthodontics, retainers and aligners and different things. And she deals with all the work coming in and navigates everything and does all of the invoices, finance. So it's great.
Oh yeah.
And then just recently, my daughter, she's now at Cardiff Uni, and she's doing her degree. So she is trainee dental technician as well.
So was she a kid that, was she in the lab a lot when she was young and just knew that she loved it? You got to give me up on that.
Well, no, do you know, to be honest, she used to say to me, she used to talk about what she wanted to do when she left school, and she said, Mum, the worst case scenario, if I don't get what I want, I can just become a dental technician. I actually said it at Insights, I brought up her photograph and said, I'm very proud to have a trainee dental technician, especially in this, I'm the mum to this wonderful trainee dental technician. But when she said that to me, when she came out with that when she was young, now, like the realization that that's not the easy option, that's by far not the easy option, it's quite a
that's
massive...
because you made it look so easy, so she thought it was, this is cake, no problem.
Yeah, I know. She saw me using the skills to make her displays for school. You make a rocket ship that was made in plaster and acrylic, and her pumpkins had carved teeth. Just you can imagine all dental technicians, I'm sure.
Oh, I love that. So you inspired her. So she's in uni now and going to school?
Yeah. So basically, the uni is the Cardiff. So she goes to Cardiff, but it's a work-based part-time course, which is fantastic, and I'm so glad that they've created this type of course. So they have to have a job working in the lab, and then one day a week they need protected time to be doing their coursework.
Yeah.
And then it's all sent over to the uni for assessment, but they do go 2 or 3 times a year to do their exams. And they're more than welcome to go over there at any point if there's things that they're struggling with in their own lab. So, for instance, students that work in just a crown and bridge lab, but they're struggling with the denture side of things, or
Yeah, that makes
then
sense. Yeah.
the university is great at just opening the doors to say, come on in, and we'll give you the support and help. It's brilliant.
And she's
brilliant.
doing this at your lab?
Yeah, so she's working at the lab every day.
Are you letting her slide by, or
I was going to say, are you throwing the hard stuff at her, or what?
Well, no, she's actually making her pound for sure. I'm making her earn her keep to go to uni, because it's not free for her to go to uni. So yeah, the business and I have to pay for that. So yeah, no, she works hard. She does all our retainers, and she does ortho appliances and does design work on the computer as well. So yeah.
My dad was always so hard on me. I worked for my dad, and he was so hard on me in a good way, of course.
Technician.
He made me better, but yeah, he gave me all the harder cases and the tough stuff, but it was a great way to learn what I do. So that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. I've got lots of friends in the industry, and this year I will be sending her to work in another lab, because it is hard when it's mum. It's bad enough I've got my big sister who I employ, but she's the boss. Oh
yeah.
That situation where having my daughter who's rolling her eyes when I'm asking her to do something and I want to throttle her. I just want to. But you just got to be professional.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am going to be placing her to a friend's lab, just a placement. It's just because I want her to see more of the real world.
Oh, I agree. I was in one lab for 13 years before I went to another lab. You just see something different, experience something different, and you'll learn a lot. Barb, you've never gone to another lab, have you?
No.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, no. I've been at one lab my whole career.
Yeah. Is that your family lab?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's brilliant.
Crazy.
So you mentioned this whole story, this whole journey started 30 years ago, and yet you were talking at Exocad. Insides.
Yeah.
When did digital enter this journey?
Digital, I have been trying from the beginning, from when I'm not very good with dates, so you'll need to excuse me, but
it's all good.
Reshape was one of the first of softwares that were out there, and as soon as I could get it, I had it, and I wanted it for ortho, but it was really difficult at the time because predominantly there was lots of ortho work coming into my business, but the practices, I was ahead of the practices, let's just say. So trying to get them on board was quite difficult. So I decided, okay, I've got this software, I'll just go back and start doing more crown and bridge work because that workflow was so easy. But I was desperate for digital dentures to be coming through. And I remember I used to design dentures on Reshape and think, how can I turn them into processed dentures? Because I couldn't afford the milling machine then.
Yeah.
And I used to be, printing them. So, for instance, a XTCERA, you could use their molds of the teeth and then print a monoblock. And I want to flask that, just buy those card teeth and pop them in. So there was lots and lots and lots of different things that I was trying to do before, it became much more available to smaller labs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've always been so desperate for this to come around. And my sister Lorraine, she got really sort of focused on the 3D printing. So we were buying all sorts of hobby printers and working them out because financially, the practices were wanting to pay for, study models that we were having to buy material that was costing hundreds and hundreds of pounds to make the model, to make the retainer. So it wasn't cost effective for us to be in production that way. So yeah, we worked it out, and we found cheap printers. We found materials that we could print models with. So yeah, she done a lot of groundwork on that, and we ended up with, we were using any cubic printers. We still actually use them to this day, all for our ortho models. So yeah, we've always been sort of pushing into finding materials and equipment that's more cost effective, because we were never in a business that made, huge amounts of money that could invest in expensive equipment.
It's hard.
So yeah, I suppose that was part of the love that I had of what, wanting to learn and find alternative ways to doing things.
Yeah.
Why I didn't make lots of money, to be honest. I knew about everything. I knew about every system. I knew about, lots of different things, because I was just fascinated by it all, but trying to do it on a more cost effective.
How did you find and discover ExoCAD and how amazing it was? You said you started with 3Shape, but then you obviously moved to ExoCAD. So what was it, and what brought you there?
The beginning of that was I had linked up with a big lab in Glasgow, where I was giving them a little bit of support for full arch cases. And when I was going into their lab, because they had all the milling, they had all the fancy stuff, but they weren't doing that type of work. And I knew the owners really well, so I was like, well, let me come over, let me learn, about the milling and the machines that you've got, and in turn I can, guide you and support you with full arch cases. And they had ExoCAD, and from there I used to watch and think, oh, that's quite easy, the way that it all stays together.
Huh.
Yeah.
And
then I'd be there just having a shot at night and thinking, oh, right, okay, 3Shape, it was all I had ever known, and I'd worked on Blender for split bars, so that was a learning process in itself. So when I saw ExoCAD and I was watching how the workflow, where you've got your case and you can go backwards, forwards, I was just like, this is great. So yeah, I started to do some design work there with full arch cases and diagnostics and implant planning and things. So that was where it began. And then I got the digital denture. So I got my own ExoCAD, and that had all the digital denture stuff. And because I was working with 3Shape prior to that with dentures, but yeah, ExoCAD, it just made it so much easier. It was bliss. Yeah. It was absolute bliss when I started to work with that. And actually, I got involved more with ExoCAD. I was working with Christina. I think you know Christina.
Amazing.
So it was a case we were doing together for an immediate load full arch bridge. And it was on a charity patient, because the practice that I work in, they support a Diamond Smile charity, which it provides dental care for women who have been through drug addiction and got over it, or substance abuse.
Wow.
And
love it.
Just women who have been through domestic violence and things. So just helping bring their confidence back. Yeah. So we worked on a case together. And there was a weekend that we were logged into each other's, ExoCAD. She had this, I had that. And we were going through lots of the designs and what we were doing. I was learning from her, she was learning from me. And yeah, we come off after that weekend. We'd spent a good few hours together working on the case. And, she'd said to me, your knowledge is just like, it's so invaluable. And I was laughing, because I'm thinking, no, I'm getting knowledge from you. But yeah, I think from there she mentioned to ExoCAD just what I was doing, because I was clinical. I was in with the patient, doing the scanning, just getting more involved. And Leo, who works for ExoCAD,
we love Leo. He's so cool.
He's great. I've known him from way back. Way back before I was a clinical technician, and I was involved with Ivoclar and way back then. And yeah, he'd got in touch with me and said that they loved the fact Christina was presenting, and a lot of the work was my work that was up there. And he's saying, you must be so
Wow.
proud of seeing all your work up there. And
Wow.
yeah, I was like, well, I've got mentioned lots of times. It's not like they were, my name wasn't put out there, but yeah, it was good. So then he just said that they possibly were looking for someone to present with digital dentures, and because I work clinically and technically, and and I'm,
Well, what was
I'm
that
doing that.
Was that
Well,
your
I was just like, I was so excited, and I remember I got a message. It was at the dental technology show in the UK. I got a message from Leo saying, we'll see you after Christina's presentation. And they ran so fast. And after she's like, see you and bloody ExoCAD. I was like, shh. Yeah, I was trying to play it cool. Trying to play it cool. Like,
Sometimes you just can't, though.
No. Yeah, he was like, how would you feel? Would you be confident? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely fine. But yeah, it was quite nerve-wracking, to be honest. It was quite a huge undertaking standing on that stage. And
it's a big stage.
Oh, yeah.
to be honest, I felt that when I'm watching other people's presentations, and they blow you away with all the video and everything, and I'm just like, Jesus, my stuff is just so real. Like, I've not got time. Yeah, I'm still polishing the denture when the patient's in the chair. It's reality for me.
I love that. I love the term real,
to bring that and to be confident.
Yep.
And try and ignore the fact that they've got all the fancy stuff, but to be honest, how many people in that audience, are doing that type of thing, or that have people in the lab making videos and whatever. So that's what gave me the confidence to say, no, what you're showing is real. It's maybe not perfect, but it's a real workflow, and what I do and how I, prepare everything, what I do to create the case, and what I do to deliver the case, and just being able to show that there's so many different aspects to ExoCAD when you deliver dentures or design. So, for instance, one of the cases I'd done, and it was a peak denture with individual crowns, and there was reasons why we'd done that, because of the patient's lack of manual dexterity, oral hygiene wasn't great. But why should she not have a denture? Why should she not have a nice smile? So.
Right.
Being able to then modify the plan and design to provide her with, something that was just gave her that smile and confidence, because she attended, she regularly attended, she just struggled. So, yeah, I did things like that just to showcase that a wee bit thought, because the software can provide so many different things. You just, it's just thinking about it. What can we do here to get round these situations, but still be able to create and provide for that case or for that patient. So yeah, to be able to show that type of thing to the audience, I did get good feedback from the audience saying that it was great because it was real. So yeah, it made me feel really proud at the end that people fed back that to me as well. So yeah, I was happy, over the moon with that.
Are you going to do it again?
Well, no, I would love to. And
Awesome.
I absolutely love sharing knowledge and sharing information. And, I've just got off a message that I've been messaging a newly qualified CDT on Instagram who wants to do digital. And, I'm just asking them lots of questions. Where are you at? What software have you got? What manufacturing have you got? And, I'm going to send him a little process of what he should do with his system, what system he uses, and just give him a little process to follow, because unless it's difficult to make that change and to evolve with that. And I've been asked, I don't know if you're aware of a UK based company, Shotlander, and they're brilliant, absolutely amazing, and they've just released their Enigma Life teeth. digital. So I'm now producing dentures and using their teeth instead of milling the teeth. And it's just, I
Oh,
think
that's
because
great.
I'm analog for so many years. And I kind of thought, I push digital because it's easier, but aesthetically, do these teeth look as good as what we were providing with analog? No, they don't. But ultimately, does the patient see that? I've always had those arguments. But when you can provide the whole process the digital way, but you can provide that aesthetic finish without any extra, work involved, it's just like, hallelujah. This is just icing on the cake. I can mill these denture bases, pop these teeth in on the articulator, absolutely perfect, no raised bite, nothing, just absolutely fantastic. And for me, it's about reproducibility to other technicians and how easy to make it for them. So I'm going to be doing a digital roadshow with Shotlander. So we'll be doing a presentation in Glasgow in November, I think.
Good for you.
So, yeah, and what my aim is to be able to show labs who are doing, whatever level or where they're at with digital, if they're no digital, if they are some digital, is just to give them information on how they can adapt to benefit their sort of the workflow, to make it faster, to make it cheaper, to make it easier, but to give the best result at the end. So, whether that's guiding them to different printers, different resins for printing denture bases, they can still process analogically by printing the denture base, pop the teeth in, flask it, so there's lots of different ways that they can use digital technology and not have to do the full manufacturing, milling and whatever. But even then, just guiding people to what I've learned and what works, what doesn't work for me, and helping them to push it forward.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's definitely not only one way to do it, and there's also not one right way to do it. And I think that's what's exciting about it is we can all do it a different way, but as long as you make a good product that's appealing to the patient, it's a win. It's a win.
Right?
Definitely. And sharing all of those different things, and if I can let people know all the mistakes I've made and it makes their learning process a wee bit quicker, then I'm happy. I'm more than happy with that.
Or sometimes it's good just to hear that other people make the same mistake you did.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
Good.
And let's still do that. I think that's the worst thing of our career is that, I said, I'll not make that mistake again. And then you're like, I thought you said you're not going to make that mistake again. But hey-ho.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there, ExoCAD. We want Caroline in Chicago.
Whoa, wow.
February for the big dental show. I'd love to catch your presentation on digital dentures. I think it's a great idea.
That would be amazing. Absolutely. So yeah, ExoCAD, if you're listening, I'm here and I'm ready and I'm available.
There you go.
And you can send Elvis and I to Scotland. Also.
Oh, of course, yes. Most definitely. Yeah.
We would love that.
Heck yeah, I would.
Oh no, brilliant.
Well, Caroline, thank you so much. What a great story. I had no idea that so much behind that clinical dental technician. I love it. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
I way appreciate it. And if we don't see you in Chicago, maybe insights next time. Who knows?
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I'll be pushing to preach my digital dentures.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
See you soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. It was lovely to speak to you both.
A big thanks to Caroline, and a reminder that there really isn't one path into dental technology or one way to do the work. From her early days in Scotland to becoming a clinical dental technician, building her own lab, teaching, working with patients, and embracing digital dentistry, she's continued to learn, experiment, and share what she's learned with the people around her. And maybe the biggest takeaway, guys, is that you don't have to have the biggest lab or the most expensive equipment to move forward. Sometimes you just have to be curious enough to try something different.
We appreciate you, Caroline, from joining us from Scotland. And of course, we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get unpacked. I got to go to the grocery store, get my life back together.
The views and opinions expressed on the Voices from the Bench podcast are those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the host or Voices from the Bench, LLC.